What's going on, team? It is Monday, September 25th, and let's jump right into it. Today was a pretty ugly day in the markets. Now, that could have had something to do with the fact that North Korea is under the impression that we've declared war with them. I'm guessing that has something to do with it. Regardless, pretty weird day in the SPY. We kind of saw this last week, a huge push down and then a bounce. So we went as far as 248 today in the SPY ETF and a quick bounce back. So some pretty odd price action. And let's take a look at the Qs, which were uglier, falling almost 1% today. Got a little bit of a bounce near 142, but ended up closing just about 143. Now, so why did the SPY basically stay break even today while the Qs dropped just about 1%? And the reason being is that the Qs, as you guys know or may not know, is a technology sector. So QQQ is a weighted index, meaning that it holds technology stocks within its index. Therefore, when it's an ugly day for tech stocks, it's going to be an ugly day for the Qs. So Apple has just been butt ugly for the last 4 or 5 sessions here. We've dropped all the way to 150. Now, my best guess is that, for the time being, we're going to find some support here at 150. I'm guessing a lot of institutions are going to start to step in and accumulate shares here. But if not, and this continues to fall even further, that's going to be really ugly, and it's already pretty ugly. I know some of you guys in the group today were considering taking a trade and looking for the bounce. Everyone has their personal preference when it comes to trading. Personally, I stick to trading in situations like this and not so much, this is referred to as trying to catch a falling knife. And trying to catch a falling knife works out great and looks cool when you catch the right end of the knife. If this were to bounce here and you take your position at 150 and it immediately bounces back up towards, the mid 150s, mid 160, then you caught the right side of that knife and you look cool. However, you could have tried to catch a falling knife here last Thursday, and on Friday and today you would have caught that knife on the blade end and fucked yourself up. So personally, I stay away from things like that. So for me, for the time being, Google is a no play stock. I'm going to give it its time to consolidate. And once it starts to trade sideways and squeeze, then I'll revisit Apple. But for the time being, Apple is off my list of stocks that I'm looking to trade currently. Run through a few more here. Now, Google, still in this nice tight squeeze on the 195, fell about 1% today. What I'm seeing here on the 195 is that as of late, there's been more green accumulation bars than there have been selling bars. So, that's a good sign for now. I wouldn't go rushing into anything. And truthfully, the direction that these tech stocks is going to head is really just dependent on a lot of outside factors. Are we going to war with North Korea? Are we all going to wake up to a nuclear bomb and melt? Who knows? So, I think for now the markets might be kind of on hold, waiting to see, how some of these bigger real world issues play out. But Google, market leading stock, in a squeeze, overwhelmingly more buying volume than selling, so we need to keep our eye on that. Amazon gapped down today, pretty ugly, fell about a little over 1.5%, which is a pretty big move for a stock of this size. And just like Apple, it's kind of in no man's land. I'm not going to try to catch a falling knife on this or anything. So Amazon is in the same boat as Apple. I won't be watching that one for, a potential trade anytime soon. But of course, I'm going to monitor it every day. Netflix, that's pretty ugly. So that move is definitely over for the time being. Fell about 4.5% today on pretty good selling volume. This kind of fell right from the open and never really looked back. So, going to stay out of Netflix for now. Won't try to catch anything in that, and I'll give it its time to consolidate and see what we can get, down the road in the coming weeks or months. Facebook fell over about 4.5% today Unfortunately, this is one of the nicer squeezes in the tech names. It was squeezing on both, the daily and the 195, but that party came to a screeching halt today on this big drop. That is some big volume. So about almost $7 million came into the stock of selling today. That's pretty big. So nothing to do there. I'm sorry, that's 7 billion. Nothing to do in Facebook for the time being. So you can throw that into the camp with Amazon and Apple. And let's see, we've looked at Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Google, Netflix, and Tesla. Not that bad of a day, down just under 2%. But again, this is a broken trend right now. There's nothing with my personal style of trading to be done. I'm not going to try to catch a quick turn. I'm not going to try to catch a bounce. So I'm going to have to, disregard Tesla for now and just watch that from the sidelines. So ironically enough, not really ironic, more shitty than anything rather. Almost every name today on our focus list this morning got its ass handed to it today. Not all that bad, some pretty decent. So TPX down almost 4% today. However, this trend is still very much intact, guys. It is still solidly within the squeeze. So for the remainder of the week, we are definitely going to keep TPX on our watch list. Solar Edge, flat on the day. Still here in this beautiful squeeze. No real selling today, so we are certainly keeping Solar Edge on our watch list going forward. First Solar, all set with this one for now. Fell almost 9% today on some huge volume. This is starting to turn into a mess, so I want nothing to do with First Solar for now. YY, was looking like it was going to run away from us this morning, and I'm glad to say that, to my knowledge, nobody in the group, got antsy and jumped on it. And I'm glad nobody did, to my knowledge, because it fell 5%. However, just like TPX, YY is still in the squeeze. So put TPX and YY on your watch list for the rest of this week. And guys, I hate to say it, but the party is over in Yelp. And to be honest, the party never really started, but this has been on our focus list, I think, since, we launched this entire group. It was in this beautiful squeeze, and finally today, it broke that squeeze to the downside. So for now, adios to Yelp. And let's see, we looked at TPX, Yelp, YY, Solar Edge, First Solar, and that was really, kind of all I was watching today. TER, Teradyne. That's another one we should definitely keep our eye on. Still in a very nice looking squeeze. Bluebird Bio. Just sitting here quietly today, low volume and a nice squeeze. So, no dumping of that stock. You can add that into the mix. And for my personal trades for the day, I closed out of Yandex this morning for about a $700 loss. It seems pretty shitty on the surface, but in all reality, it is what it is. It was a pretty good position size, so I'm really lucky to have not lost, 1,500 or more. I cut probably, midway through this opening nasty 195-minute bar, and it continued to fall. So, still in the squeeze. Definitely going to keep my eye on Yandex going forward, but I protected my portfolio today and exited that. I also closed Under Armour today for a profit, so that was a good trade. We went short on the signal up here, and I covered here today. So Under Armour turned out to be a nice trade, as did MTW. I entered here. This is something Tyler and I and the group are talking about today, which I'm going to discuss in the second video I'll be sending your way tonight regarding, proper entries. But MTW I took right here within the squeeze on big volume. And as John Carter says, today I fed this to the ducks. And what that means is that I got in early in the squeeze, and then today on the breakout, because there's thousands and, millions of traders out there running breakout scans. They saw this breaking out, they all wanted it, and I was right there to hand them my shares and lock in my profit. So that turned out to be a nice trade. And this afternoon I also went short LN, as you guys can see. nice squeeze here. It tried to run up a few times. This is a very weak company fundamentally. They do something stupid like make emojis. It's a Chinese company. So this looks like, it could easily fall from here and have a while to fall. So, while there was some big buying volume, I'm reading that as kind of, exhaustion. You can see right here, it tried, and it keeps getting pushed down. So it'd be nice to see if it can break below support here and, just fall flat on its face. Fall flat on its face, and that will be a nice short trade. So we'll see how that shakes out tomorrow. But again, guys, I'm happy today that everybody was patient. And just something to keep in mind, a few hours ago, our buddy Chris mentioned in the group chat that he doesn't like to trade on Mondays, and what he means by that is he likes to sit back and see how things play out. Now, I agree with that, and while I do trade on Mondays, my general rule of thumb is that I hate to trade, really within the first few hours of the market opening. So, on the East Coast where I live here in New England, market opens at 9:30 in the morning. I really do not like placing any trades until, noon or 1 o'clock the earliest. And the reason being is that, in this market right now, shit just fades left and right, Look at YY this morning, guys. Nice squeeze, breaking out. It was up like, 2% and change. Looking really strong, and then bloop, flat on its face. That would have really sucked to have gotten pulled into this today and immediately be faced with a 5% pullback. And how do we avoid that today? Simply sat there, patient, sat on our hands, and just waited for the dust to settle. So that's just my personality when it comes to trading. I like to have 100% conviction in every trade I place. Take a look at Yandex. Yes, I lost $700 on this today, but you know what? That signal day right there, I'm going to take that every single damn time I see it. In a squeeze, increased on volume, that's my signal, that's my pitch, and I'm going to swing for that every single time. It didn't work out today, and that's how trading goes, but guess what? I did what I was supposed to do on both ends. I saw my signal, I went long, it didn't work, I took my loss, and I moved on. I didn't let it affect me mentally. I could have lost $7, it would have felt the same as losing 700. So keep those two things in mind. Stick to your guns, have 100% conviction in your setups, and in order to have 100% conviction, you need to be patient, and you need to say no to a lot of shit. And I think as a group, we've done a great job of being patient and saying no. And I hope we continue this forward momentum. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Just to touch quickly on the whole, political nonsense. I don't really like to discuss it. I could kind of care less. The only reason I could care is that A, we could all wake up to a nuclear bomb and die, which would suck. But even if that happens, it is what it is. Really can't dwell on things out of our control. But what I will say is that if I had to guess right now, the markets are going to be, on edge until this entire North Korea thing gets figured out. It's going to end one of two ways. One, we're going to go to war, and I hate to say it, but we're probably going to completely destroy that entire country. And at the same time, we could also be very susceptible to taking, attacks ourselves. So, nothing good on that end. It's not like I want to see, our country destroy another country. But with all due respect, at the end of the day, I'm an American. Anyone trying to harm us can go fuck themselves. But it's a shitty thing to see, war on any level. I just think it's stupid. So it's going to end one of two ways. A, it's going to end, with fire, with a fight, with war. Or B, somehow, everyone's going to hash it out, you could say, and this will end, somewhat peacefully. And I really don't understand what, the game plan here is for North Korea. With all due respect to anyone who lives over there, they simply don't stand a chance against the United States and our allies. It's really that simple. We remain the most powerful country and military in the world. And I just don't see it ending well. But I also don't see it, going great for us if we do break out into a war. So that's enough of my politics for tonight. I'm going to get off the podium now and work on our next video. So tomorrow, keep TPX in mind. Keep Teradyne in mind. and be patient, be focused, and I'll talk to you guys later.